In this episode, Mr. Wu is going to discuss the flagship models of the Nikon series, F1 to F5.
Mr. Wu is here again. From what we got and the responses we got from the last videos, it was just simply amazing. And I want to thank all of you guys and thank Mr. Wu, who is like the walking encyclopedia on vintage cameras. So today, we're going to discuss some of his other collection of Nikon cameras, film cameras from back in the day. Without further ado, welcome, Mr. Wu.
Welcome. Yeah, so we have today many Nikons. Today we will do the flagships of Nikons, the top line. So we all know that they started with the Nikon F. This evolved from the rangefinder Nikon. So this camera unseated the German dominancy over the SRR world. So they have this system camera. Of course, camera you can change lens. You can also change the prism with meter, without meter, and you also can have a specialized 6 times magnification finder. You are doing macro, you want to enlarge it 6 times to make sure that everything is sharp. Then you have the facility to change the film back to put a motor drive. As you take out the finder, you can also change the focusing screen. So this was a system camera. Some were wondering how come this shutter button is so far back. The reason for that is that it was just a continuation of the Nikon rangefinder. The Nikon rangefinder, the shutter was in this position because your other finger will have to control the focusing in front. So they couldn't make the shutter release too far in front. So the shutter is at the back. Okay, so this was the Nikon F. It lasted for about nearly 10 years before the next model change. This was the workhorse. This camera went to the moon. This camera went to the Vietnam War. So it survived all the bumps of the everyday journalism. After nearly 10 years, they improved on the F. It became the F2. The corners were more rounded. You still have a changeable meter head. But this time round, the battery is in the body. On this one, the battery is in the finder. So now the battery in the body, so the contact will be transmit to the prism. But you can actually share the same focusing screen. Excuse me. Now, instead of a sliding out cover, you got a hinge back. And also, you can put a motor drive. So, Nikon F2, both are mechanical. This shutter speed 1000, this shutter speed 2000. And on this F, you notice the shutter number got different color. You got the white numbers and you got the green numbers. The green number mean that between 125 to 2000, you can set it in between. Intermediate, it will still work. Whereas the white number, you have to set it at the proper point. Then, for long exposure, they borrow something from the German camera. You can actually have time exposure up to 10 seconds. 10, 8, 6, 4, and 2 seconds, besides the 1 second to 2000. So effectively, your shutter speed range 10 seconds to 2000. So you had a good run. Then came the evolution of the electronics. So electronics was slowly gaining momentum. While mechanical was good, they were very long lasting, but they were not so accurate. The 1 second may not be 1 second. The 1 second may be 1.5. Whereas an electronic camera is very precise. 1/2000 is 1/2000. So this came out in 1980. the first flagship Nikon with the electronically timed shutter. Now, at first, excuse me, the photographers of that day were skeptical that these electronics will be good. So they did not touch it, not with a 10-foot pole. So they stuck to the old one. But over time, this camera proven itself that it eventually became the preferred professional camera. So likewise, you also can change the screen, the head, the prism, and the screen. But this time, the photocell is no longer in the prism. In the old system, when you take out the prism, you lose the metering. So this one, the photocell now is inside the body, underneath this mirror. So regardless of what screen or regardless of what finder you use, you still have the metering. So this is now fitted with the motor. If you take it off, then it's more compact. You take it off, it's about the same size. So when you put the motor, it adds to the bulk, but it adds to the convenience. You can fire in 1 second, 5 frames. You can have a motorized rewind. And added to that, you can have other attachment. You can put it into a radio control device. Yeah, you can do remote shooting. This is the add-on, additional shutter button. This plate is also add-on so that you will line up the tripod socket in the center. Okay, so of course, like all the three, you can also put a bulk film magazine. You can load up to bulk film. You can shoot 250 frames in one go. This have a long run, and then came the era of the autofocus. So this is a transition camera, F4. Now this one is different in the sense that the motor now is integral. The motor is part of the camera. And you have this battery holder, either the big one or the small one. Then lens is the same, so you have a changeable finder, but not compatible. This is on their own. Also focusing screen. It's still very old classic. Everything is dial and knob and button. So, and anyone who holds this will know immediately how to use it. At one glance, you see all the control. So rewind can be manual rewind, the traditional crank, or you can turn on the power rewind, power. So this is the F4. Autofocus.
What's it made out of?
Oh, it's all metal.
Metal.
It's all metal, strong, built like a tank.
It wasn't plastic.
No. Plastic covering a little bit, but the core of it is metal. Then it evolves to the F5. The F5, motor integral. The battery pack is also at the side. It uses AA battery. You can get it anywhere in the world. Finder also changeable screen, autofocus. So you can shoot, autofocus. Then you can shoot a sequence. Let's turn off the menu. Yeah.
Wow.
So this is the lineup. There's one more, not here. I don't have it yet. The Nikon F6. The F6 is the top of the top, the ultimate one of a flagship model. It's not so big. It's designed for people who like the film camera and they build it to the top, but smaller form size because the owners don't actually need too high a speed of a motor. So it's about not that fast, but very good. But electronically and the function is all up to date. You won't lose out to any of the modern digital cameras. So we have it here, F, F2, F3, F4, F5. Now, beside this is actually a small Nikon. You look at this one, looks like a Mickey Mouse. This is for the consumer market. They started with the EM, then they have the FG and the FG20. So smaller form size, takes the same lenses, fixed prism, non-changeable head, cannot change the focusing screen. But as any other Nikon, you can also put a motor. You got a motor drive, you take out this hand grip, and then you can put the motor drive. So it's good. It's still a Nikon, nevertheless. Yeah. The first Nikon with the program exposure. So this when you want to go on the weekend, you carry this. It's very small, very light. Yeah, next to nothing. You can walk down the whole street whole day. Don't feel no strain on the neck. Nice camera.
Hey, we have a question regarding the F4.
Yeah.
Was there a controversy on this F4 when Canon came out with their EOS system that it kind of blew away the F4 as
No,
far as
the
autofocusing?
Canon EOS actually took the camera world by storm. Before that, the Canon were like the second runner, the underdog. They were never there. They have the Nikon Canon F1, the new F1, and they have all the intermediate models, but they did not have the kind of lead and following like Nikon has. Nikon wanted to keep the old owners happy. They kept the mount the same, the F mount. So the Nikon F mount until the Z series were all the same mount. But of course, over the year, they have electrical contact and things like that. But it was still the same F mount. Whatever the model, whatever the generation, you can still use the same set of lenses. Now Canon also had that up to the point, up to the F1. Canon F1, the new F1, they had what they had called a FT mount. Then they took a calculated risk. They know that in spite of the advancement of the lens mount, they cannot go because it's limited by the design. So they took it all away and developed a new electronic mount, the EF mount. That's the time where they have the EOS, started at the EOS 1. Their autofocus system was much, much better and faster than the Nikon. So over time, the media took over. Most of the media companies switched to Canon. There's no turning back from that on. So when F4 there, but it's still not neck to neck with the Canon until they came up with the F5. With the F5, they're on same level, shoulder to shoulder. So this one, when they have the F4, there was a companion model, the F90 or the N90. That one has a faster focusing, faster than this. So they had that. Then until then, we have the F5. Then F5, they are on level.
Okay, great. That was very interesting. And I'm sure our subscribers will definitely be keen on this because they do have a lot of questions. Now, I think maybe in the next series we can do on the F/N series.
Yeah, those with the built-in motor.
Yeah. I think that seems to be intriguing.
Yeah.
And then if you guys have any questions for Mr. Wu, please put them in the comments, and I'll definitely get it to Mr. Wu. Although one man, he says that one of his first cameras was the Exacta.
Yeah.
And he would love to see some more Exactas.
Yeah, we have
you were
some.
telling me the other day you got a couple more.
Yeah. I like the camera so much. I go to the pharmacy to buy the shaving blade. There's one company, Chic. They make one series of shaving blade. The name is also Exacta. So I also use Exacta shaving blade because it got the same name.
Okay, so next time we'll bring a couple more Exactas in. Okay, thank you again,
Right.
Mr. Wu.
Welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.